afternoon, everybody. My name is Samantha Rose Brody, and I have been given the honor and privilege of directing the play The Young Are Old, written by Lucas White. And today, this is the amazing cast that I have that are going to bring this show to life. So, I have Jordan playing Barbara, Landon playing Eddie, Lizzie playing Maeve, and Andrew playing David, and Molly will be reading the stage directions.
Midnight on a cool fall evening. The moon is full and blue light covers the stage. David rushes into the yard from upstage right and focuses at the back door to a house across the stage.
Eddie?
There's still no response. David fiddles with his hand in his coat.
I know what you did, Eddie!
Still no response. David is furious. He withdraws a pistol from his pocket and kicks down the back door to the house. He enters and scrambles around. A few moments later, he returns. He slumps to the porch steps. He looks at the gun in his hands and soon buries his head. He shakes himself and straightens up. He gently places the gun on his knee, still grasping the trigger, and stares defiantly across the yard.
I can wait for you, Eddie.
A moment of silence. Then rustling is heard from the opposite side of the stage. David stands and faces it. Maeve enters.
David?
Maeve? What are you doing here?
I live next door. What are you doing here?
She sees the pistol in his hand.
What are you doing here?
Since when do you live next to the Walkers?
Years now. You've been gone a long time.
I suppose.
David, why do you have a gun in your hand?
David turns around and goes to sit on a fallen tree. He slides the pistol back into his overcoat.
It has nothing to do with you.
Does it have to do with the Walkers?
Maeve, let's go back to bed.
I wasn't sleeping.
Is Frank home? You think a man would notice if his wife left in the middle of the night?
He's working a night shift. He trusts his wife to do whatever she pleases.
That's not. Never mind. Seems like everyone's gone tonight.
He gestures to the house.
Eddie and his wife went into town hours ago. Who knows when they'll return? Should I be worried about this?
You don't have to worry about me at all. As I said, it's nothing to do with you.
Maeve is silent and observant.
It is good to see you again.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting to see you.
I wasn't expecting to hear someone screaming in the middle of the night. I'm surprised nobody called the police.
Far enough outside of town. If you're so worried, why didn't you call?
I felt like investigating.
I guess you're lucky it's just me then.
I guess I am.
Maeve starts to move around the yard.
I definitely didn't expect to be in this yard with you again. Do you remember playing here when we were kids?
David nods his head.
You and Terry would use that old bench as your pirate ship. And I was either a captured princess or, if I was lucky, a sea monster.
That was so long ago.
What was that? What was that song we used to sing all the time?
Terry. He used to sing it all the time.
Sometimes I wish I could slip back into that time, even just for a minute, to have no cares, responsibilities except to be home for dinner. Do you ever think that?
No.
Same old David.
We were naive. Didn't know an inkling of the world outside of town.
We were children.
Do you think we were safe because of that? We had to grow up, but never knew how because of childish ignorance.
I think there's a beauty in that naivety. The world was simple.
It was small. That's why I enlisted. To escape this bubble of false reality.
Is that why you stopped writing? Because the bubble was too fake for you.
What are you talking about? I never stopped writing you.
Maybe not altogether, but you might as well have. The time between letters stretched on for months, and I finally got one. It was full. Just a
I was fighting a war, Maeve. What did you expect? Erotic love poems?
Never mind. I let go of it a long time ago.
Obviously.
David turns away, breaks off a small branch from the tree and starts poking the ground with it. He's waiting for Maeve to leave, but she zeroes in on him.
Why are you here, David?
I don't know.
You're here for no reason.
No. Haven't been doing too much the last few years. I mean, I have a job. I don't give a damn about it. It's been lonely. I thought of coming here, in my hometown. It's refreshing.
That does not explain the pistol or why you're on the Walker's property.
Eddie Walker did something unforgivable. And he got away with it scot-free.
He did something to you.
Not to me.
You're going to attack him. Shoot him.
She waits. David remains silent.
Well, what if you saw his wife, but not him, when you busted down their door?
I didn't think that far.
Well, obviously you thought far enough to decide you needed a gun.
I would not have shot his wife.
But him? You wouldn't?
Yes.
Maeve is stunned.
Do you really not know what he did?
Maeve sighs and lands on the fence post.
No, David, I know. Or at least I guessed. A little while ago.
You guessed and did nothing?
The whole thing is over and done.
My father's in jail because of that man. It's not over.
There's nothing more any of us could do. Do you really think the county would indict him? Walker employs a fourth of this town. He would walk. And you know Eddie already had his comeuppance.
David eyes her and shakes his head.
I don't care.
Maeve crosses her arms.
Didn't you care about Terry?
Of course I did.
David stares and starts to pace.
Then why kill his father? Do you think Terry would want that?
No, but I don't think he wanted to get shot either. He paid for Eddie's mistakes. My father paid too. They were both innocent, and the only person who's not in the ground or in prison is the man who's actually responsible. And since they won't put him in prison,
Put him in the ground.
you understand.
I understand your anger. I cared for Terry too, remember? When I heard what had been done to him, it was heartbreaking. But we practically lived in this house as children. We knew shady things went on. It didn't surprise me when Eddie's life imploded.
What you don't seem to grasp is that he forced other people to take the fall for him. My father and Eddie may have been business partners, but they never worked for the mob together. Never. That was all Eddie. And once the police caught on, suddenly there's evidence that my dad has connections with these people. There's money in the bank that wasn't there before. Eddie threw him under the bus.
Hasn't he already paid by losing his son?
Terry dying is not an excuse. Eddie doesn't get to walk free and live his life comfortably after destroying two families.
One of those families was his own.
Why are you defending
I'm not
him?
defending him.
It sounds like you are. What, did you marry this guy too?
Maeve smashes him across the jaw with her fist. Dave touches his blistered lip, then goes down stage right.
I wrestled with this for a while now, Maeve. I've made up my mind.
There's silence for a while.
Part of you died in that door. From the moment you left, I never saw the same David again. The man that I loved disappeared into a shade. I could have been there for you. Damn it, if you would have tried, I could have waited for you. But I'm not a pup who lays in the house waiting for his master. Okay, you made your choice to go serve. I respect that. But I had dreams of my own. I did things that I wanted to do, and I couldn't keep waiting while our relationship ran on fumes.
Maeve, I do regret staying as long as I did. If I would have returned earlier, maybe I could have stopped all this. Maybe my father would be free and Terry would be alive. Maybe we would have been together.
I regret that it didn't work out too. I could have prevented you from going this far. We can't change any of that. We can only make choices here. Now.
Why did you choose Frank
What?
instead of waiting for me? Why'd you choose Frank?
David, I am not sure that this is the best time.
I would like to know.
Fine. After you left, I was proud. I was prouder than most girls. My man was risking his life for his country, and I think in my mind you were risking your life for me. Even though it was hard to be alone, I had convinced myself that it was worth it for a month. Your first letter was fine. You were just shipped overseas and you told me about all these really beautiful cliffs and beaches. Honestly, I was kind of jealous. Your second letter was when I noticed something had changed. You didn't talk about the world like it was majestic or mystical. No, now it was broken. It was turned upside down. Hefty things to read in the middle of a small suburb on rolling plains. And in every letter after that was the same. And you never talked about a life with me like you used to. I know it sounds dumb, but I remember you stopped calling me beautiful after the third letter. And yet still, I cherished them all when they came in. There was this confirmation that you were still out there and you hadn't been swallowed by war. I clung to every dispassionate, hollow, loveless letter until the one you sent me on Christmas. It had been nearly a year without you by then, and I had no one. I had been counting on you, David. I had been counting on you coming home. So I got your letter. And in it you said I would spend 100 more years fighting before I would think of home. You said that to me in the loneliest time of my life, where every day prior I had hope of you finally coming home to hold me in your arms, and it was like I could see your love like sand just falling through my fingertips, and I couldn't collect it no matter how passionately I wrote you back, and I couldn't connect with you. And that's when I met Frank. After a year on the edge of emotional collapse, he saw me. He saw me throwing up near the Berkeley Bridge. Actually, a lot of people thought that he was the only one who asked me if I was okay. I'm so grateful just to have someone put their hand on my back and just tell me to breathe. David, I have no idea how much I regret hurting you. I hate myself sometimes for the way I ended things. I didn't want to send a letter to tell you, but I also didn't know if you'd ever come home.
So you just waited? You just waited till I came home? To our home?
David, you forfeited that home the second you decided to leave it. You might have spoken about marriage before, but your letters painted no portrait that that was what you wanted when you got back.
So you invited Frank in my place and waited to even mention he existed until I walked through the front door?
That's not what happened. Listen. Frank had been working his way closer to my heart, and you couldn't be farther from it. After that Christmas, when your letters essentially stopped, that was it for me. I know it wasn't your fault. I know you didn't do it with the intention of harm. I know it, but I let myself blame you for it. I allowed that to be the catalyst for our separation because that was what I wanted.
You wanted it to be over.
Yes! God, yes! Every night I would fall asleep empty, holding on to the indefinite promise of your return, but always knowing that that promise could be shattered in a second. I was in limbo. I needed closure, and Frank was that for me.
He was your escape. You sound like you don't even love that man.
You will never understand.
I won't. I was in the same situation as you, sweetheart, except I was dodging bullets and artillery while you were whimpering in your pillow all night. I've seen men shredded in two, and friends lose their torso when a grenade exploded in their face. Don't you think I would have done anything to come back to you? To escape that
Then
hell.
why didn't you?
Because it was my duty to fight.
And what about being a husband? Was that ever something you actually wanted?
It was, damn it, Maeve, it was. But it was my duty as a man to fight.
And I thought you went to war because the world was too small.
None of that changes what I have to do. I lost you while I was gone. I lost Terry. I lost my father.
You didn't lose your father.
He's rotting in jail for the rest of his life. So yes, I lost him. Everything I went to protect, I lost. Killing Eddie Walker is all I have left.
David, don't throw your life away for revenge. You know your father wouldn't want you in jail alongside him. Did you think you were going to get away with it?
Maybe.
What about me? I know what you've planned to do. Do you expect me to just stay silent?
David says nothing for a long time. Finally, David takes the gun out of his pocket and stands up. There's an electric between Maeve and David.
That part is your choice. Do what you will. It's time for you to go, Maeve. But no, I won't ever hurt you. And I would never hurt you. Even after what you did.
A car rolls up to offstage right. David stops on the porch and turns around. Headlights swing across the yard and illuminate Maeve for a second. And David for a second. Car doors and idle chattering as footsteps approach. Maeve hurries to the driveway. Eddie Walker and his wife Barbara enter from upstage right. They're smiling and talking but see Maeve immediately.
Mr. and Mrs. Walker, please get out of here.
Eddie sees David on the porch in front of the door with a pistol in his hand and a driven look in his face. He steps in.
I don't think you want to leave, Mr. Walker. Or else I'll tell the whole town about how dirty your money really is.
What are you doing, son?
I doubt your mob friends would be happy about that. They may punish you again.
He gestures to Barbara. Eddie looks to his wife, then back to David, stepping past me.
Who are you?
Do you have a weapon?
Eddie slowly nods.
Gently pull it out by the muzzle. Throw it over here. I'm Jim Harold's son.
David? You've grown so much. I can't remember the last time I saw you.
I remember the last time I saw you. I used to sit in my car and watch you in your yard every day after I got back from war. I had nothing better to do, except think about all the times I could kill you. I held myself back for weeks until finally I left town. I thought the fresh start would clear my head. It didn't. All I could think about was how my father was in jail instead of you.
David, why don't you come down? Let's talk.
David rigidly aims the pistol up to Eddie's chest.
No, I don't think so. I'm not gonna waste time. Don't worry, I'm a crack shot.
Stop. If you shoot, you're going to have to shoot through me.
Move.
You lost yourself, David. Maybe I lost myself too.
Maeve, get out of the way.
I'm not moving.
Maeve, move, or I will shoot.
Go ahead.
David puts his gun tight. He stares Maeve down.
My son Terry would often speak highly of you, David. And I think he saw you as a brother he never had.
Terry, the son who was killed because of you?
Barbara starts screaming.
My son was murdered by mobsters who wanted to kill me, but they couldn't. I employed too much of the town. They killed him instead. You think I'd rather it be him than me? I wish every day I had died instead of my son. Never have a great regret.
And you just get to live in comfort with that regret.
I would do anything to have him back.
What if you could do something? Look, everyone's choices here are permanent. The ones in the past, the ones about to be made, but there's no reason There has to be more bloodshed. There's no reason you can't atone for your sins. Confess to the police. Acquit David's father of crimes he didn't commit. I can't think of a thing that would make Terry prouder.
Eddie, please don't let him kill you if there's no only way.
Eddie,
I would do it for Terry. What do you say, David?
after an excruciating moment of hesitation.
Okay. I accept.
David lowers his gun and walks down the steps. Maeve gets out of the way and leans against a bench, letting out a sigh of relief.
Just let me grab my jacket and
David shoots. Barbara screams. Eddie falls straight backwards. Maeve is shaken. David turns to her as he stands over Eddie's body. There's a brief moment where everyone is frozen and shocked. Suddenly, Barbara goes for and grabs Eddie's gun that he tossed. She raises it.
No!
Barbara rapidly shoots twice into David's chest, who shoots one shot and kills her as he crumbles to the ground. Barbara lays dead. David heaves as Maeve rushes to him and cradles his head in her arm.
David, why did you do that? David, please, help! Somebody help!
David, sputtering blood.
You're fine. You're okay, okay? You're gonna be okay. Please, somebody help!
David grabs her shoulder, uses all the energy he has to shake his head.
Sorry.
A siren can be heard in the far distance. Maeve looks up, but David grasps tighter. She looks back to him with soft eyes and starts singing to him through tearful exhales.
Beautiful dreamer, king of my soul.